Well, tensions are on a knife's edge across the Middle East after the assassination of Hamas's leader on Iranian soil. For more on what the situation is like on the ground in Israel, I'm joined by the Minister for Diaspora Affairs and Combating Anti-Semitism, Amichai Chikli. Minister, thank you so very much for your time. I know there's a lot going on there at the moment, so I'd like to get straight in and ask you, how close do you think we are to potential World War III?
I don't know about World War III, although that there are many forces who are involved and engaged in this war, directly and indirectly. When it comes to Iran, we are already at war with Iran. I want to remind you that on April 14, 100 ballistic missiles, each and one of them carry warhead of 300 kilos. Were launched into Israel, and that's regardless to hundreds of drones and also dozens of cruise missiles. Just to let you know, the missiles that were shot into Majd al-Shams, killing 12 children, innocent children, last Shabbat, carried it was 50 kilos. So just to imagine the scale and what are we talking about. So we are already in a war with Iran, with Hezbollah, the Houthis, the proxies of Iran.
Oh, it's an unenviable position, to say the least. Iran have vowed to strike back off the back of the killing of those terrorist figureheads. Do you think they'll have the guts to do it directly, or do you think they'll continue to do it via proxy groups in a more cowardly way?
They will do it both. We saw already that they attacked us directly, as I mentioned, on April 14. So we're assuming we're going to see it once again. But in addition, this time we also will have Hezbollah in a larger scale, since we've killed their chief of staff, who was in charge directly in killing these innocent kids, and also with Nasrallah, is in charge of opening war without any reason on October 8th and violating the agreement we reached after the Second Lebanon War, agreement decision 1701 of the United Nations.
You've been fighting on the ground in Gaza since October 7. You continue that fight. What is the capacity that you have in Israel at the moment to defend yourselves? Now, I understand how the Iron Dome works. I think you may still have a fair bit of capability in the air that hasn't really been used in Gaza. Are you confident that you can handle anything coming your way?
I think that we need to remember that a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, if we would eliminate the heads of Hamas, like Ismail Haniyeh, or their chief of staff of their terror wing, Mohammed Def, the meaning was hundreds of missiles, maybe thousands of missiles launching into Tel Aviv, Jerusalem. And now, after we've killed both, when we killed Mohammed Def, no response from Gaza. This is because of the activity of the IDF, intense activity of 9 months. I think that we are in a very good situation in regarding Hamas. Hamas is near to a defeat, and we are closing to a victory. Up north, this is just the beginning of the war, and with Hezbollah, and it's a challenge. Iran is an evil regime. It's not a democracy, it's a dictatorship, and we are proud to fight this war. We see it as a war of good against evil. This is not just Israel versus Iran. This is not a soccer match. This is also a metaphysic war. This is also a philosophical war between two rivalry ideologies, and I think that this ideology is also mutual to the citizens, most of the citizens of Australia.
Yeah, look, I agree with you entirely. This is the greatest example ever of good versus evil. It's not confusing by any stretch of the imagination, which makes it all the more harder to understand the reaction of so many in the West, particularly at the left. I look at the reaction to Osama bin Laden, for example, the celebration, and I compare it to the reaction over the past week. How do you handle what is so clearly such a major double standard?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's first, the greatest challenge here is the knowledge, learning the history. People today, they want, fast answer, easy answer, black and white, and they throw the conflict into a very narrow frame, which is totally nothing to do with the facts. So the lack of knowledge, this is one. Second is that I would say, the wishful thinking that maybe they are okay, these guys. Maybe we can achieve, maybe we can appease Iran. Maybe we can make peace with these kind of people. And the lack of understanding that there is evil in this world. And with evil, you don't do business. With evil, you are fighting. And this is what we're doing.
I'd like to ask you this final question before I let you go, because as I said at the start, I know how busy you are. A lot of Australians have Lebanese heritage. Our government is telling us, A, not to go, and B, if we're there, to get out. What would you say to Australians who are either in Lebanon, have family there, or are thinking of going? What would be your advice?
Yeah, I think it's better now to leave Lebanon, and for meanwhile, I think it's safer. It's not that we have any intention to, you saw the attack a few days ago. It was very, very, very accurate, very accurate. We are doing everything we can to prevent the harming of civilians. And we will continue to do our best on that matter.
Oh, absolutely spot on. And I had John Spencer on my show, who Netanyahu actually quoted in that speech to Congress. Minister, thank you so very much for your time. I have no doubt the majority of Australians do understand the difference between good and evil, and we really appreciate your time. We're thinking of you and we're praying for you.
Thanks so much, Erin.